Hello and welcome to another video from yesterday's Airlines, and in this video I want to talk about the Russian Renaissance, or at least the Russian Renaissance in 400 scale die-cast airliners. There have been years where you'd only get one or maybe none in ways of Russian manufactured airliners in 400 scale, and now all of a sudden you've got this reinvigorated scene where multiple manufacturers are looking back and seeing that there's really good, interesting material to be made from Soviet era aircraft. So in this video, I just want to have a quick talk about that and look through the different molds. Hopefully, pique your interest, because the Russians have made some really excellent looking aircraft, which certainly can spice up your collection and make it a great deal more interesting than if it's just full of A220s and 737s. So first out, let's look at the IL-62 and give a quick shout out to Gemini. Now, Gemini Jets and I are not exactly best pals, but you can't really fault them for their usage of the IL-62M mold. They have found it again after many years of not seeing it, and they're releasing one or two a year, which is not enough for me, but at the same time, I understand in terms of what they produce that IL-62s aren't exactly their core market. It's a good mold, it's a good old mold. It's a really nicely done mold, and this Tarom example, for example, was, I think, released 1 or 2 years ago, but they've recently done Interflug and Malev, and they're nice. They're super nice, and the IL-62 is a really cool looking airliner. It would be awesome if they could do a standard IL-62 sans suffix without with different engines, but I don't see that happening. But nonetheless, there's still a few IL-62s they could whip out, though I think most of the ones that are left are probably for airlines, which are way outside the Gemini area. But nonetheless, they could certainly do a Tarom delivery colours, and it's a really nice airline, so and a really nice mould. So well done, Gemini, for finding something that I find interesting to talk about. So that's the IL-62, really nice. Now, obviously, in the background, you can see a variety of other moulds, and the first one of those that I just want to discuss is the Tu-104. Now, this is a really nice mould, could do with perhaps a slightly smaller nose gear. It only ever got used once, this mould, by Retro Models, and there's been a whole cavalcade of issues in terms of Retro Models and getting models made and so on and so forth, and I don't want to go into that in detail, but nonetheless, my understanding is the mould still exists. Is a good chance we will be seeing some more Tu-104s, and that would be awesome, because we still are looking out for Aeroflot and a variety of other schemes, and hey, you never know, it could even be made into a Tu-124 in time. So I think that this is an awesome little jet, and I love the early jet phase in aviation, and the Tu-104 is an airliner that does not get the credit it deserves for bringing that jet phase to Eastern Europe, and actually well ahead of most of the West. So great little mold, and hopefully we'll be seeing some more of these in the near future too. Cool. Now, and a plane which everyone had been waiting for a long time was the Tu-134. Phoenix had a 200 scale mold and never shown any interest in doing anything with it. So it's fallen on Panda to produce a beautiful mold, and for many people this model was model of the year last year, and certainly the mold kicks bum. And they've got not just this version with the glazed nose cone, but also they've got the radar version as well. So you've got this wonderful little Tu-134A mold. Again, it doesn't quite fit an original prototype Tu-134 sans suffix, but it's a beautiful mold, and the other one's just as good. And I really, really hope Panda can actually get some of these out there in the market, because so far we've had this one and 2 Air Koyus. It's not enough, man. There's so many good 134s to make, and it's a beautiful, beautiful little jet. So definitely hoping for more of those. And then now moving to its big brother, and another manufacturer which has kind of rediscovered molds that it you never thought we were going to see again, is Aeroclassics. And not only have they made a Tu-154, we'll look at that in a minute, but also they have produced at least one IL-76 in the last year. Not this one, this one's an older release, but they produced a Chinese Air Force One in relation to the COVID virus and the Chinese reaction to that. And the IL-76, you can't ask for a cooler looking and more unusual looking jet in 400 scale, so definitely worth picking up IL-76s. Hopefully there will be some more from AC in the future. I don't know, I'd like to see some. But they have also rediscovered their Tu-154, and this recent Samara Airlines 154M is a nice example. Now the mold is not going to beat you know, that Panda 134 or such. It's an old mold, but no one else is making 154s, and Aeroclassics are one of the few manufacturers that actually produce unusual airlines like Samara. And, you know, if you're producing Russian metal, then you're going to be producing some Russian airlines like Samara. So you've got to accept that, you know, your average kid in the Midwest of the US is not likely to want to buy them. So you're going to produce smaller numbers. And that's one of the things Aeroclassics does well. And even though the mold's not the best in the universe for this day and age, I can certainly accept it when there are no others around. I really look forward to seeing, you know, more Tu-154s. So really good. Now the odd, or perhaps the ugly duckling on the end here is this Yak 42. And that's another obscure type which really has seen very little love in 400 scale. And this one is by D'Agostini and was manufactured as part of a Russian magazine series. Now the mold itself is actually really good. The printing is pretty dreadful, but the mold is nice. And, you know, could de-shine those fan blades and do a bit of printing, and this would be really nice. So, I mean, I'd love to see more usage of this mold. I don't think it's going to happen, but, you know, it's just nice to see at least one Yak 42 in 400 scale. So that's, again, a really interesting and unusual airliner that was released just last year. So, you know, we've gone from having, you know, pretty much no Russian metal to having IL-62s, Tu-104s, Tu-134s, Tu-154s, Yak 42, even an odd IL-76. And now, of course, we've got the new NG Tu-204 and Tu-234/204-300. So, you know, we've gone from nothing to this huge number, perhaps not quite huge, but a decent number of Russian releases on really nice molds. It's super exciting, you know, gives a real diverse mix of airliners, and just, yeah, it's not a constant stream of 787s and 777s and 737s. Hello, Phoenix. You get something a bit more interesting. So, you know, you might not have collected Russian airlines before, but come on, give them a try. Look how awesome these models are. I think that they really add a bit of colour and interest to anyone's collection, and I can highly recommend them because, you know, my Russian fleet is certainly going to be growing. Cool. So anyway, that's just a quick chat about, you know, what's going on in the Soviet era scene of 400 scale. There's a lot. It's really cool and exciting, and I hope to see some more great releases from Aeroclassics, from Panda, from ngmodels, from even Gemini in this area, because there's still plenty of cool aircraft and airlines to be made. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, obviously subscribe to the channel. Check me out on Instagram at YesToAirlines. Check me out on Facebook at YesToAirlines again. And check me out on the website, yesterdaysairlines.com, because I always try and keep everyone up to date with the news and what's going on in 400 scale. Thanks very much, guys. See you later.